and welcome to the Sober Freedom Podcast. I'm Christal.
And I'm Lisa.
And we're here to share our experiences of going alcohol-free and the freedom that it brings in the hope that it might inspire and support you in your journey.
Hello and welcome to the Sober Freedom Podcast with me, Lisa McGinnis.
And me, Christal. Hello.
Hello, how's it going?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Good. I'm buzzing actually because we've had so much feedback and so much interest about the podcast so far. Like, I've been so pleasantly surprised by how well it's been received. I didn't expect any of the reaction, really. I thought a few people would maybe listen out of, being nice, like wanting to be supportive and stuff, but it's actually been a great resource for people.
It is. It's so nice to hear, isn't it? And yeah, I'm always surprised when people come up and say, I listened to it. And
yeah.
It's exciting.
Yeah. I think one of the things that has struck me is we're on 250 unique listens now, which is like, I don't even think I know 250 people.
I'm sure you do, Lisa. I'm sure you do.
Me and my dog and my tortoise are three of them. But we've both had like responses on social media on the account, on the Instagram account, about how much people are enjoying it and like tags on social media. But what's touched me and what's been a bit of an eye-opener to me are the private messages that I've got from people who, one, I didn't even realise were aware of the podcast or that we did one, two, that have listened and enjoyed it, and three, who have resonated with it so much that they've felt the need to message us and say how it's impacted them or how it's been really thought-provoking for them, or they've recognised some behaviours in themselves or someone else. They've recommended the podcast to someone who think it would benefit. So it's much far-reaching than I imagined it would be. Definitely.
I had a really nice chat with someone this morning, actually, at the gym. And she was saying that although she doesn't drink, she's been listening, which is lovely.
Okay.
But she was saying how she felt it could be applied to other areas in life as well. So it may be, obviously cutting something else out of your life. So for her, she was talking about sugar,
right,
and healthy eating. But it was just nice to see that it can resonate on different levels as well.
Absolutely, and with so many areas, it's the same principle applies. It's anything, for me anyway, anything that can't be moderated. Anything that you struggle to kind of go without on a regular basis that you wouldn't think, so for some people it might be, I can't go without, checking social media before I've even got out of bed in the morning. That's like reading the papers, the equivalent of reading the papers, scrolling for an hour. Anything that you think, if it was taken away, why?
Yeah.
So the same principles that I apply to alcohol, if it applies to other areas of people's life, like sugar, gambling, sex, social media, TV, anything really, shopping addictions, it's a useful resource for people just to take the advice or the lived experience and apply that to other areas of their life. Yeah, I think if you can identify that there's something that isn't adding to your life and it's actually starting to take away. I think that's the key there, what you've just said.
All of those things that you've mentioned.
Yeah, even exercise. Exercise can be an addiction, people. Although I own a gym, Project for Fitness. No, but again, anything that can't be done in moderation and that doesn't add to your life, it begins to take away. Definitely just have a little audit yourself.
And you were saying you told me earlier that it surprising people who have taken something from it as well. You mentioned you were telling me about your dad, weren't you?
Yeah, so when I was when I went round the other day, because I usually go round after work every Thursday, and then so now every other Thursday I go a little bit later because I'm coming to do the podcast, and he goes, what did he say to me today? Something like, knock 'em bendy or something like that. Go knock 'em bendy. Something like that. Oh, nice one, Dad. But he was saying how, like, so he was asking about it and asking how, like, well, what do you say? He does, like, I don't know if he would know how to listen, if I'm honest, but he's been really, really supportive, and I absolutely love that. I adore my dad. And the fact that he's been so supportive is like, just it means everything to me. But he was saying, and this is something I never thought I would hear him say, he's like, you know, like Friday night, I want to go to the pub across the road and, you know, I want to have a few drinks, I want to enjoy myself. And in there, it's like competitive drinking. No sooner than I'm drinking one, there's another one. And he's like, I just want to bloody chill. I want to relax. And it's interesting how this conversation has got him thinking about his drinking patterns, his friends' drinking patterns, the culture within his friendship group, or the people that go to the pub that he goes to. Are they friends because of alcohol? So it's making him, at his age of, I think he's 68, question things around drinking, why, who, where, what for, you know. So it's
interesting that there's a shift, isn't it? And it's reaching all generations.
Definitely. And I think that the fact that I don't drink, I've got 3 sisters and 1 brother, and I think all of my sisters don't drink. Maybe 2 of them will have one occasionally, but it's not a thing for them. My brother stopped drinking for a good period, and now he just drinks like moderately. I think the conversations that he's had with all of us has made him think and had a better awareness, whereas maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm speaking out of turn, but that generation, everything was you work Monday to Friday, you finish, you go out with your mates and you get absolutely leathered. And that was it. Sunday you recover, Monday back at work.
Yeah.
There's definitely a shift now.
And I think, you know, sometimes I think as well, if you're having a fulfilled life, it can be a bit easier because you want to keep that time. You don't want to be like borrowing the time from tomorrow with a hangover.
Yeah.
But I think obviously if you're in a more of a, you know, there's other times where you're in like a job for life. It might not necessarily be your passion or something that you really love doing. So you can see, and that's kind of the way things, I would say, used to be. You would have a job for life, wouldn't you? Whereas now I think some people are able to do more things that they actually choose to do. So why do you want to be borrowing that time from the next day?
Yeah, definitely. Like back in the day of my parents anyway, that was the socially acceptable behaviour. You know, you go to work, you earn your crust, you go out Friday, Saturday. That's it. That was your communal time with your family and friends. Pay for it on Sunday. A few black eyes, you know.
Let's hope not.
A few black eyes, a few Chinese burns. Back in work on Monday.
I do think as well, though, my main job is decluttering people's houses, so I get to see in there and what they have. But one thing that struck me the other day is old wine glasses. They were tiny, and I think so. I think people, in a way, like now, I think generally drink so much more than people probably used to. I think there's access to.
That is so interesting. That's something that I would never even cross my mind.
Yeah.
But yeah, of course.
I know
I think about it, like when my parents have got like these ornaments, you know, that are in the sideboard or whatever, and they're like, is that a port glass? No, that's a pint. you know, relatively. But do you know what I mean? Yeah, actually.
Like, do you remember, like, and when you were just saying then you'd go out on a weekend, and I'm just picturing those tiny little wine glasses that you used to have the sort of round on the top and just small.
Yeah.
That used to be a wine glass. So yeah, it just struck me the other day when I was doing some decluttering, and we even said, well, you wouldn't want these. It's just too small.
Yeah.
So everything's bigger and more now, and it is more accessible, isn't it?
Yeah, I've actually got like, it's from the 70s, but it's an original Baby Sham bottle and a Baby Sham, like,
the little glass.
And the bottle is tiny.
Yeah.
Tiny. And like, just saying that now, I'm thinking, oh yeah, bloody hell.
Yeah. So, but I am really glad it's reaching, people that may not think it has been reaching. Something that's been coming up for me a little bit is a bit of imposter syndrome. So obviously we're here doing the podcast, and then sometimes I have these thoughts like, well, I'm only 9 months sober. Can I be talking about it? And also the other thing that came up for me was, did I have enough of a problem to be sat here doing a podcast and talking about it? And these are sort of just some of the internal thoughts in my head. But I think so it's reassuring to hear that people are listening, and it is helpful. And obviously we've both got our different experiences. So that's really good to hear and like I say, reassuring. But also I think it goes back to this whole thing of me questioning it. Like, was it a big enough problem to be talking about it? I think that, again, like we've said it before, it shows how normalised like drinking a lot is in society. And I think a lot of people, by not saying it's a problem, so people who go out and binge drink quite a lot or heavy drink because it's accepted, it's fine. Yeah. Then you're sort of saying, well, maybe it's not a problem. And in that respect, it's keeping you stuck where you are. It's keeping you stuck in that cycle, isn't it?
Absolutely. First thing I'd say is, why do you feel imposter syndrome? Like, what do you feel an imposter about? Because you've been sober for, well, at that time, was it 8 months? Yeah. 7-8 months?
Since we started. It's just some things that creep in and you think, well, yeah, should I be doing this in 3 years' time,
But 7 months in, 3 years in, your experience is, prior to that, has got you to this point. So no one can qualify that for you apart from you. If you feel something's a problem, your feelings are validated. Like, no one else is living. I always say no one else is living in your head. So if something is a problem for you, it's a problem. I'd flip it and say, do you know what? I recognised something was a problem, put it to the back of my mind for a while until I couldn't feel that shit any longer. I've actually embraced when I came across your Sober Freedom Instagram by chance. It was on, people you may know when I was on Instagram, because obviously we're Instagram friends as well as friends in real life. And I was like, oh, what's this? And I was like, holy shit. I was reading through it and I was like, wow. One, I would never have thought anything of the what you wrote was so raw, was you being so vulnerable and putting yourself out there to be judged. And I, from knowing that place, especially this soon in, that you started that Instagram account, I was so impressed. I was so in awe. I was like, wow, Christal just went up there in my estimations. I was like, this woman is phenomenal. To have, because you see people and you think you know them, but nobody really knows anyone unless you're very, very close friends. But you put yourself out there. For me, all credit to you. All credit to you. So nobody could ever say that, one, you're not qualified to do this. Two, like, no, you should be at least 3 years. Yeah, who says that? Right. Captain Babysham. Like, who says it? No one can judge your experience. You're actually taking an experience that was incredibly painful, flipping it, and then using this platform now to create something that is going to be so far-reaching and help so many more people who you would have wished you'd had access to at that point.
Well, I think that was one of the reasons why I started doing it, because I thought I'd started to see these other accounts and things. I was like, that has helped me so much. Yeah. So it's definitely one of the motivations for doing it. And thank you for that reassurance. It was really, really nice. I don't want you just to big me up, but these are just some thoughts that I think so many of us have, don't we? Like,
no, Christal, but it's so easy to get in your own head about stuff and think, oh, am I when that person's doing it, but yeah, they've got 1 million followers, and I don't give a hoot. I don't care if you're taking a negative experience, learning from that yourself, and then flipping it to help other people. Lord, that is so impressive. That is, honestly, you will not understand how many people you're helping with this. That will never say, I mean, we've had private messages, we've had messages, like public messages on feeds and stuff. Those are the people that reach out. There'll be far more that don't, far more that don't, far more that are watching, far more that are listening, and far more that are taking inspiration and hope. Hope more than ever. If you don't have hope, you bollocks. Like, so you're providing hope. And just another thing as well, I always, like when people come to me and say, oh, listen to your podcast, I thought it was great, really good. And I go, well, do you know what? It's actually Christal. This is Christal's creation.
Well, it's together, isn't it?
No, but the light deserves to be on you.
Oh, well,
no, true.
I'm glad I'm here having the light shone on me.
I'm not being knobbish
you.
saying that. I think it's really important to start something from it being a thought. This is why your thoughts are so powerful. So you saying there you've got imposter syndrome. Well, guess what? You flipped a negative thought, a negative experience. Look at this now.
Yeah.
Look at this. We're in a podcast studio. We are creating something that's really positive, but that's come from your bad experience, you having a thought, actioning that thought, make it into something. You invited me into this. I'm not organically in this. This is Christal's creative baby.
Well, I mean, thank you. This is so lovely.
I'm just adding a little salt and pepper to it.
And I'm so glad that we're doing it together.
Me too. I'm honoured.
But I think what's important from that is obviously, like you saying you found my account and that you didn't know any of that was going on.
Yeah.
And I think that there's probably so many other people out there that have got these feelings that they're having an issue and a challenge with it. And it can, like, it does sort of chip away at you. And
absolutely,
you've been there, you know how it feels. So to be able to sort of share it and in the hope that it will just plant some seeds for people. Because I think for me, like, I'd met people along the way and, you know, just they'd say like, oh, they don't drink, like yourself. And then other people who I've encountered. And for a long time, I've always sort of really admired them for that lifestyle choice. Yeah. Like not knowing the reasons or whatever, but just always thought, yeah, that'd be a good way to live. And it just always plants these little seeds that I think had been growing for a long time, even though I hadn't really tackled the drinking element of it. But I think it was just in my mind growing. So sort of the outpouring on Instagram had probably been wanting to be said for a long time.
Yeah. I think as well, it's good. It's good to see different examples of people who don't drink, like, because I've not drank for so long now. People probably think, all right, so Lisa, like, she doesn't drink, she owns a gym, she's into her fitness, she does it. So I'm maybe viewed as, well, that's part of my identity. Do you know what I mean? Like, well, it's okay for her because that's what she does. She's fitness, she's health.
And I think people who meet you now, like, they would probably find it hard to imagine another version of you because you meet the person that's how they are.
Yeah.
But obviously there's all that work that's gone into that, hasn't there?
Yeah, and I've been drinking more than I've not been drinking in my life. So this is relatively new, even for me, because I was drinking since I was, 17? Like, till, what am I now? But yeah, so till I was 38, so flipping heck, you know, it's...
a lot more drinking than not drinking.
Yeah.
How do people who you knew before you stopped drinking, how are they about it now? Did they ever say anything?
Now,
good or bad?
Now they're cool. Now they're cool, but initially it was like, oh, what are you not drinking for? Oh, here she is. Has anyone got the crucifix, the nuns here? You know, kind of like take the mick and stuff like that. And that was, as much as it was little jokes here and there, when you're like struggling and fighting every day to kind of keep yourself on this track and say with Chess, no, I'm okay, thanks, I'm not, I don't drink, it chips away because you're still so vulnerable. Now it's just seen as what I am. But like even, for example, the last week I went to a funeral and there were people there who I've known for over 20 years. And the first thing we were saying was, oh my God, do you remember when we went out that night? And it was always like, remember you ended up like pole dancing on a lamppost or doing a conga in a kebab shop, and you know, and it's like, it's stuff when I look back now, it was so funny, so funny. And those were the good times.
Do you feel like you still think, oh, that was a good laugh, like looking back, there's not like this, oh no.
I do at those points, but then I also remember nights where it wasn't so much
not so fun,
but it's like, they've not seen me for 20 years, so they don't know me as this kind of person now.
So they sort of stuck with that other version.
Yeah. So those were like what our conversations were structured around, like, oh, do you remember that? And then we went there, oh yeah, gotta remember. And it was fun. It was like, but these occasions weren't bad occasions.
Were they surprised? Like, did they know that you don't drink now? Were they surprised by that at all?
I think, yeah, they know I don't drink now. Maybe not as surprised, probably because if they follow me on social media, they kind of follow the journey. Like it was interesting. They were saying, oh, and I've seen that thing that you're doing. Oh, and I've like, oh, you went there, didn't you? And I'm like, Jesus.
Stalker.
All right. You know, Poirot. You know, so it's, I think it's interesting for them to see my journey, and like they wouldn't ever say, oh, just have a drink, go mad, you know.
It's what you said before about they'd say, oh, here's the nun. I went to an awards dinner the other night, which was amazing. But obviously, like, it's still quite new going to these it was a big glitzy event to do with another area of my life. And we'd gone, and it was, you know, but getting ready, I was like, oh, it's a bit nervous. It's a bit nerve-wracking because I knew that there'd be like a drinks reception. And I can't lie, like, I'd love a nice glass of Prosecco. That's what I would really enjoy. But I was like, I know I'm not going to drink. But it was sort of, you know, it's sort of getting a bit anxiety around it and everything. But it was good. We got there and they had sort of 0 drinks at the reception. So that was really nice. And I was doing really well. And you know what? The win for me of that night was I wore this very glitzy dress that there is no way I could have worn if I'd have been drinking, because it would have been too risky. Like, I would have been flashing all over the place. It just wouldn't have been ideal. So that was like a really nice win, to be able to go and be glam and know that I'm not going to then be acting in a way that doesn't kind of match the outfit. But there was a point where we were saying, in the group, we were saying cheers. And someone said to me, oh, and I've heard this said like on podcasts and in books, like, you can't cheers, you don't have wine in your glass.
Oh.
And oh my God, that stung. I was like, I felt really like I felt angry.
Yeah.
And these are my friends, like, they didn't mean to obviously cause that reaction. And I sort of a bit humiliated and angry. Like, yes, I really did. Yeah. And it just made me, when I've heard other people say it, and I think it just goes to show, again, until you're in it, you can't really like imagine actually how that could make you feel. And I was like, oh, and I was sort of really, really upset. And then another friend was like, oh, it's a superstition. And I was like,
wow, I'd have just asked them to repeat themselves.
I said, you don't have to be a dick about it.
I'm glad you said it, because now I can say it. What a dick move.
Yeah.
What a dick move.
But they didn't mean it. And I think like it is for them a superstition. But for me, like, it really did sting. They didn't intend to do that. Okay, and they weren't trying to belittle me for not drinking.
The intention wasn't to make you feel like shit or humiliate you. However, that's how it's been received, and your feelings need to be validated. So I hope you said to them, look, bit shitty that actually.
You don't need to be a dick about it. And but then they're like, no, it's just a superstition. I'm like, but that's all it is?
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't even say the worst. It was just funny. We there was a. Do you know those things on like on your camera where like you cheers in and you
boomerang.
Boomerang. That's it. I remember one night I was out and everyone was cheersing and I had like a bottle of water, and the next day Earl, my business partner, just rips me. He was at it. Oh, Lisa, I was laughing so much. Everyone's there with the drinks and you're there with your water, and I just thought, oh my God, go on, Lisa. But it's like something I didn't even think of. I was just like there, and he was just like, but he noticed it, and I was like, oh yeah, actually, he wasn't a dick about it at all. He was laughing. He was just like, go on, keep going. You know, so it was said with love. But yeah, I don't like that. I don't like that kind of thing.
Not nice at all. But I like I say, I honestly don't think there was any intent in it, but it's strong. So I think, you know, just to sort of voice that really, and for anyone else who was experiencing that, you've just got to be strong. But it took me a bit by surprise, to be honest, and it did hurt a little bit.
And I get that. Also as well, I think you need to remember and give yourself a little bit of grace. You're 9 months into this now, which is relatively still in its infancy. So you're going to experience still a lot of firsts.
Yeah.
Like that was a first for you, as well as like really positive first, like, I can wear this really beautiful dress because I know I'm not going to end up on News Tonight, Northwest, you know, flashing, woman flashing, Lucy Me cock there, you know, kind of thing. Like you looked absolutely stunning. And when you say as well, like you never would have wore that dress because you wouldn't, like your behaviour might not have allowed you to do that. Mm-hmm. Also, we were looking at before and after pictures, and another reason why she wouldn't have been able to wear that dress is because prior to that, if you don't mind me saying, like you were bloated from alcohol. I could see it, Christal. It was like two women side by side. I cannot believe like the puffiness and bloatedness is like, you look, and I said to you straight away, change your profile picture, please, on Instagram. Not on Instagram, on WhatsApp, because
I've done
that's
it.
not you. That is not you. And now, like, not that you weren't stunning before, but you don't necessarily appreciate the effects that alcohol can have on your skin, on aging, on all sorts.
I hadn't realised. Obviously, like I've been working out with you for a couple of years now, but I hadn't realised the dramatic. I had got results whilst I was still drinking, but the results from not drinking have been so dramatic now. Yeah. So you're quite right. Like one of the reasons I wanted to wear that dress, you can see it on my Instagram if you're interested, people. But I was like, I've worked really hard. Like I've worked hard to physically change my body, but also I've worked really hard at my sobriety. And actually, I want to show that off, and that is why I wanted to wear it. And I was really proud of myself. And it's hard to say those things as well, because you feel like, oh, I don't want to, you know, big myself up or be boastful or anything. But that's why I wanted to wear that dress, and I'm really glad that I did.
Well, do big yourself up, and you're not being boastful. You're an example, if anything. You know, like you and I are about to do a workshop at the gym in a couple of weeks.
Can't wait for that.
A part of it is how alcohol can have an effect upon your training, your working out, your recovery, and all things around alcohol and fitness-related issues. And then Christal's going to tell a little bit of her story and her lived experience of it. And then there's going to be an opportunity for a Q&A afterwards. But you're walking the walk. You're not just literally talking the talk on here. You say, well, how am I qualified to say this? Hello, this is how you are.
I'll tell you what, though, as well, I would never, whilst I was drinking, I wouldn't have had the confidence to do a podcast and publicly speak. And I would have been, I might have been able to do it at the gym, but I'd have been really nervous about it. Whereas now I'm just quite excited, and I think it'll be helpful for people. And hope people will have questions, and you know, so it's exciting. But I can honestly say, like, whilst I was drinking, I don't think I'd have been able to like articulate myself how I want to. Yeah, I don't think I'd have had that clarity, and I just wouldn't have had the confidence in myself, because I think it can sort of chip away at that, can't it? So
yeah, I think you're proving to yourself daily how, one, you can see the thing is as well with your lived experience now, from going from drinking regularly, often drinking heavily, to going alcohol free. The trials, the tribulations, the difficulties that you face every day and overcome every day, but no doubt find challenging every day, sometimes easier than others. This seeps into every other facet of your life. If you've got a challenging work situation coming up, okay, you know in yourself, do you know what? I've faced other challenging situations. I can do this. It's, you're getting all these daily affirmations, all these examples that you're proving to yourself day in, day out, are all compounding to the point where you don't realise how much you're growing. You don't realise how much you're elevating, but you are becoming someone who you weren't. It's like a caterpillar
cocoon
coming out of its shell, whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, don't you?
I think you're right. And I think, you know, you start to tackle these things without alcohol and they do start to stack up and they do start to build up. And I'm noticing that. But I think on the flip side of that is if you're drinking all the time or drinking, you know, even occasionally, but you're hard on yourself about it. So you chemically feel imbalanced anyway because you are. But then you're beating yourself up and just giving yourself a load of grief because you've drunk and you've let yourself down or you've been in whatever situation you found yourself in. So that's like chipping away at you. Whereas without drinking, things might be hard and you might have a few setbacks, but you're kind of building all those positives. Whereas I think drink's just taking it away all the time when it gets to a difficult place with it.
Exactly. And it's then you're having a new lived experience of overcoming adversity, learning from these challenges. But not only you're learning from them personally, people are seeing you go through these and they're taking inspiration and you're an example to them of how things can be overcome. Everybody looks up to somebody. Not everyone will tell you that they look up to you or you're an inspiration, but guaranteed, Christal, 100% guaranteed, someone is watching you now and thinking, do you know what? Christal can do it. I can do it. Like, look where she started. That sounds just like where I am now. And look where she is.
And look where you are now,
has she
right
got
into
there?
it as well.
Yeah,
so it's all the different stages, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And I think for me, there's no, if you can turn a negative into a positive and just encourage people, just be open. Like, who the hell would say, like, you've been sober for 7-8 months. You think you're doing a podcast? Like, who the hell are you? Deirdre? Like,
well,
line your neck in.
Yeah, I'm glad we're doing it. And I think it is, like, it's so reassuring, isn't it, that people are listening and enjoying it. And thank you for all your encouragement as well. And
thank you for inviting me to even be part of it a little bit. Love it. I'm honoured. I'm buzzing.
It's amazing.
Truly.
I'm glad we're here together.
Me too, Mama.
So what have we got coming up in future shows? I think we've got some exciting stuff, haven't we?
Oh, we've got some guests, some very, very interesting guests from all different walks of life that will resonate with different people on so many different levels. And although it's a podcast and the idea is to speak, I'm just here listening half the time because I'm in awe of these stories and like, wow, they are really, whether they resonate with me or not, the message that people have got never fails to kind of make me think and make me want to take action in different ways in my life. So yeah, it's really exciting what's coming up.
So we've got Siobhan is going to be our next guest, and she is from Not So Secretly Sober. So you can find her on Instagram if you're not following her already. But she's going to have a lot to say.
Yeah, she has a lot to say.
So yeah, that'll be the next show. And I think, lots to look forward to. So we'll keep going. We'll keep being open and honest because I do hope that some of it will resonate.
Definitely. And we will be doing a workshop on Sunday, the 16th of February at Project 4 Fitness, all around things living sober, how alcohol affects your training. So everyone is welcome. So if you'd like to come and listen and take part, then if you put a message in the comments, we'll give you some more details about how to attend that.
Oh yeah, or you can get me on the @sober.freedom Instagram and I can pass that on. Or the Project 4
Perfect.
Fitness
Yeah.
Instagram, couldn't we?
Yep.
Oh, I can't wait for that.
Brilliant, excited. Looking forward to it. Thank you, Mama.
Thank you.
The Sober Freedom podcast is hosted by Christal, Dauncey and Lisa McGinnis. To leave comments, ask questions and interact with the show, follow @sober.freedom on Instagram. Please also subscribe, rate and leave comments wherever you listen to help us reach more people. The show is recorded at KUPOD Studios in Oldham and produced by me, Matt Dean, with video production from Eddie Corteen for KUPOD Productions. For more information, please visit KUPOD.co.uk.